of this intruder with our one of the big new weapons. It's a minigun, which is a really nice weapon to do a lot of damage with. That's also one of the things that obviously people remember from Killzone 2, that we have these fantastic set pieces.
Yep.
And this bit right here is, I think, it's about 3 minutes of worth of destruction, which tops any kind of level that we did in Killzone 2 in terms of destruction. The level of damage that you do to this environment is just phenomenal. There's pipes falling down, there's entire oil rigs crashing down into the water. It's quite rewarding to use that minigun on these kind of environments.
I don't think you've taken your finger off the trigger yet. It's just constant fire.
It's constant fire. There's a lot to shoot at. Absolutely.
So can you set this up for me? What are we doing here? Who are we fighting? That kind of thing.
Well, obviously, we're still on Helgaan.
Yeah.
On Killzone 2, we actually ended on the steps of the palace, having just taken out Vizari. Spoiler alert. I'm sorry.
Right. Sorry about that, guys.
But the game picks up. Killzone 3 picks up right where we left off. So you're still on the steps. You can see the Helghast cruisers coming in, and you know it's time to evacuate. They're bringing their full force. A lot of technological advancements from the Helghast side, and you now need to get the hell off the planet. But obviously, as things go, they don't go right, which means you probably have to go throughout the planet in order to make your final escape. So in this portion of the level, as Herman said, you'll be taken to the Arctic seas of Helgaan, and you're just meeting up with Rico again, and you're trying to salvage some POWs in order to get the hell off the planet.
It reminds me so much of that trailer you showed for Killzone 2 when you're on the landers,
Yep.
but here you're actually playing it. It's a lot of fun.
That's one of the new things in Killzone 3, that we make sure that you actually get some gameplay while you're on these things, and we want to change it up as much as possible. So this level that we're showing here today has got 4 distinct sections. It starts off with you on the intruder wielding this big minigun. Then it's time for some on-foot as you get shot down and you're stranded in this very Arctic environment. And you'll face off with some new frightening enemies that are there, kind of bringing their new technological advancements. Things like a jetpack. It's something that we brought back from the original Killzone, from Killzone Liberation. We always kind of look back at the previous games. So from Killzone 1 we had these big gyro mount weapons. So the minigun is one of those, and the Wasp, which is a big portable weapon of mass destruction, which fires lots of missiles, which you'll see later in this level. That's another one of those weapons that basically is inspired by the original Killzone 1 on PlayStation 2. And then we've got the jetpack enemies in there, which are inspired on what we did for Killzone Liberation. We felt it would make a great addition to get some more variety into the game and to introduce things like aerial gameplay, because we just want to make sure that the minute-to-minute stuff that you're doing is just fantastic.
What about the sea, Steve? We're proud of the sea.
Of course, I mean, Killzone, the stuff that people always talk about is the visual benchmark, kind of the fidelity of the graphics out there, and that's something that we've worked very hard on to make sure that, again, we raised the bar in terms of what's possible on a PlayStation 3. By the end of Killzone 2, we always thought, well, we're maxing it out, this is kind of what we can do. But then you go back to your code and you find you can do other things, and other games show up. Great games like Uncharted, God of War, and they show that the bar can be raised even higher. So that means we have to step up and again push out and say, okay, what can we do to make this better? So we've gotten much bigger environments this time around, the much larger vistas. You can see these big seas. We have to develop some new technology to the engine to make sure that all of this is running as smooth as possible. We want to make sure that it's, again, a very fluid experience.
It happens.
It happens to the best of us.
So let me ask you while we...
This is actually one of the new features.
Go ahead.
Rico here. Rico's still there from Killzone 2. A lot of people were picking up on Rico, saying, well, he caused a lot of frustration, a lot of anger in people. There's very strong emotions around him. Emotions are great around the character, but it shouldn't be out of frustration. So we're making him a much more useful buddy this time around. So he can do things like revive the player. So as Herman just got shot down, Rico came up, revived him. So it's not just you doing the reviving, he actually revives you as well, keeping you in the game, keeping you going. So
now you want him around. Yeah, absolutely. So we've seen a lot of Arctic setting in this game. first question is Killzone 3 all set in this area? Okay.
We're taking you across the entire planet, so anything from the kind of the ruins of Pyrrhus, the city that we visited in Killzone 2, where now a nuclear blast has gone off, so the city looks completely different, and yeah, basically it's a nuclear wasteland. So we'll take you from there. We'll take you to jungles, very alien, hostile jungles. It's not what you would expect from a jungle. We'll take you to the Arctic seas. We'll take you even into space at some point. So there's a lot of variety in terms of the environments and also in terms of the actual gameplay.
Very nice. The other question, with the Arctic stuff, is can you talk about sort of the influence? I mean, we see these raging seas, we see this really sort of stark cold environment. Can you talk about the influences and what you drew to create these environments?
Well, obviously, as we started to explore kind of what kind of new environments, what else is there on Helgan that we wanted to go to, we always had this vision of, okay, there's an older culture there. The Helghast have been on the Helgan for a while now, and we want to explore what makes them tick and go more into their history. So what we're actually doing here is we thought, well, there must have been an industry there on Helgan, and one of the industry elements is that they use petrocite. That's the ore they mine from the ground, and that's actually where these oil rigs come in. The oil rigs and the big ships they use to transport the ore with. So we were envisioning this kind of this graveyard of oil rigs that would just be washed up and frozen on these icy shores. Really harsh conditions again, because life on Helgan isn't easy, and it shouldn't be. So that's really where this came from, is kind of exploring what the Helghast culture was about, what kind of their industry would be about, and all those kind of things. So this is the introduction of the jetpack troopers. They're a great new enemy, and actually if one of the systems that we've introduced already in Killzone 2. We're expanding that for Killzone 3. This is one of the systems called Cinematic Death. We want to make sure that there's a lot of rewards when you actually kill one of those guys. So as Herman